Today we celebrate the life of Cheryl Morin. She has touched each and every one of you gathered here today, as well as many others who were unable to attend. I'm David Lundberg. I'm Dale's brother-in-law who was married to his late sister, Michelle. Dale asked me to speak briefly about her life and her legacy and instructed me to not make it dark and sad. And to stay aligned with how she lived her life. In time, I believe each of you will smile, recalling and sharing memories of Cheryl. Today's tears of sorrow will turn to tomorrow's tears of joy, recalling the many happy memories of Cheryl. Each of us have our own connection with her beloved wife, sister, daughter-in-law, sister-in-law, aunt, niece, godmother, cousin, friend, etc. and etc. Today we gather in celebration of Cheryl's life. Let's take a walk down memory lane, sharing many of the recollections of Cheryl. She was born in Minnesota. She moved to Rapid River. She graduated from high school there. She married her love of her life, Dale, and they enjoyed the reception at the Dutch Mill, Rapid River Falls Park. During married life, they enjoyed Mexico vacations, Las Vegas vacations, excursions with their two brothers. They visited Door County, enjoyed fish boils with fall colors, and eating at a Swedish restaurant. Unfortunately, the Swedish meatballs were never as good as what Aunt Marion made. Other vacations involved warmer climates where she actively sought the emerald green water. She enjoyed vacations with the Thorson aunts and the many visits down to Stonington. This was her happy place and where she often found peace and solace. In the later years, she valued these trips up north and increasingly more and provided ample time to catch up on everybody's happenings in their lives. Dale and Cheryl enjoyed many years of marriage. Perhaps you observed pictures with her sticking her tongue out at Dale. That was so typical of her. Other times she would ask Dale to make a run to the restaurant for a take-home meal to enjoy. Annually, they made their Christmas trek down to the Kohler restaurant, enjoying an upscale hotel brunch. Fishing was one of their together activities they enjoyed at Ralph's Cabins. This means that Dale baited the hook. And while she was fishing, he was baiting the other hook on the next line. And by the time that was baited, it was now time to switch the poles. You'll notice that one of us was fishing, the other one was baiting. On a more serious note, they stood together as they faced various health challenges. Cheryl was extremely proud. Of her two younger brothers and their military careers. Kevin, who was called Butch by their father, was affectionately called Kenan by her. Kevin never really learned the origin of this. Glenn, being the younger brother, was always called Glenny. Perhaps it was to emphasize the fact that he was the younger brother and would remain forever in that role. As younger children, the three of them often argued over Saturday morning cartoons, which one would be watched on their own TV. Cheryl generally outsmarted the two younger brothers by getting to the TV first. At other times, she would exert her firstborn status. One trait that seemed to be mentioned frequently was her stubbornness. That has been identified by both the Thorson side as well as the Morin side. This was affirmed a lot by the brothers during her final days. Cheryl enjoyed many simple pleasures like lying in the sun. Oftentimes this was accompanied by a good book. One time during Kevin's college years, she visited him during his finals week. She convinced him to study in the park where they sunbathed. Well, she sunbathed and read a book. They truly had a wonderful day, creating yet another memory to cherish. On a Caribbean cruise, Kevin and Cheryl shared a cabin together with a balcony. The coffee never tasted as good sitting in the sun and watching the waves. As the big sister, Cheryl had the biggest heart. She was always willing and ready to help her brothers. There was an unspoken phone protocol for the siblings. They must call every 2 to 4 weeks. Cheryl's part-time job schedule was confusing to her brothers. Oftentimes they called each other when the other was unable to talk. Inevitably, she would call during the week when Kevin was working. And Kevin would call on the weekend when, of course, she was working at the library. On more than one occasion, Glenn would casually ask Kevin, "When was the last time you talked to your sister?" Kevin knew that Cheryl had called once again, and he had missed it. And he invoked yet another chuckle for Kevin. As many of you knew, she took an interest in the legal arena, initially starting as a legal secretary, and subsequently pursued additional education, leading to her becoming a paralegal. She enjoyed the profession and worked many long hours supporting various attorneys. Upon retirement, she pursued a new avenue, working part-time at the library. She met new friends and enjoyed a new zeal for her life while at NWTC. If you didn't know, Dale and Cheryl enjoyed their pets. They were more like family members. I vividly recall in years past, they had a massive cat. I'm telling you, it was massive. It was called Pappy. Through the years, they enjoyed Taboo, Dante, Charlie, all of which have enjoyed restaurant meals brought home in doggy bags. And truly, they were for the dogs. On more than one occasion, I heard Dale made a KFC run just for the dog. Their beloved dog Charlie will certainly miss Cheryl's ongoing love and treats. Calling him a pet would be an insult. Truly, he was and is a family member. I recall multiple Christmas gatherings at the Morin home. Imagine 4 couples staying in a 1-bath home. Cheryl was known to spend much time prepping for the day. I don't know if you knew that. And she was always dressed to the nines. Fortunately, there was a makeshift shower in the basement, albeit though limited hot water. Many memories were created when Dale and his brother, or my brother-in-law Bill, needled each other, and Cheryl would utter, "Bill!" This happened on more than one occasion. I never realized Bill was a multi-syllable name. There were baked bean and onion slice sandwiches, and of course the meat pie. All of which created situations later in the evening in which we will let that go. To this day, Dale and Cheryl have continued the Christmas meat pie tradition. I mentioned Cheryl's required prep time. She was known to get up at 4 in the morning to be to work by 8. If we wanted to have a dinner reservation for 6 p.m., we would tell Cheryl several hours in advance it was for 5 o'clock, hoping to make it by the 6 o'clock reservation. As many of you may recall, Cheryl was very proud of her Swedish heritage. Quite often she would mention this during conversations. Upon my joining the Morin family, she was delighted to have another Rapid River Swede in the family mix. Cancer became enemy number 1 for Cheryl and Dale. This dreaded disease has impacted her family multiple times and for generations. We all know she fought with every ounce of her being to the very end. This was often referred to as cancer sucks. Certainly, Cheryl did not choose her cancer battle, nor the course that it took. None of us were prepared for the speed of her decline. As the days continued to dwindle, her brothers, Kevin and Glenn, opted to come to Green Bay to spend the remaining time with her and Dale. Thankfully, my current wife, Cheryl, was able to play caregiver 24/7. As a result, these guys found a little humor in a very bleak situation and nicknamed my wife Florence. Everyone needed a little humor to lighten things up. I know these past few days, as everyone has learned of Cheryl's expedited decline and passing, we were very sad. She would want everyone here today to visit and share stories, and I've heard a lot of stories today. During this gathering, we'll make it a life celebration. Oftentimes, each of us get too busy to simply gather and enjoy the moment with each other. Take the time to recall and savor these moments as time passes far too quickly. As I conclude this celebration of Cheryl's life, I realize she will soon take her final ride down Cunning. She will soon take her final ride down County Road 513 through Stonington. I visualize her jubilantly stating, "I'm home at last and no longer plagued by this cancer." Cheryl, we will miss you. On behalf of Cheryl's family, thank you for coming up to celebrate her life. Thank you to the family for trusting me to honor Cheryl's life. With this,